Manly Sea Eagles coach Des Hasler has apologised over the controversial fallout of the team's pride jersey. 7 players will not take part in the match against the Roosters tomorrow night, refusing to wear that jersey over religious and cultural grounds. Joining us live now is the former Manly player Ian Roberts. Ian, good morning to you. Thanks for your time this morning. So after yesterday's events and then another night of reflection, how do you feel about Manly's decision to press on with its jersey while other players sit it out?
I'm glad they're proceeding with the Pride round. It's a wonderful initiative. You know, we have to think about where this came from. It's coming from the right place, and I think, you know, we have to acknowledge, you know, that Desi Hasler and Daly Terry Evans, their apology yesterday, in that the club got it wrong with the way it moved forward. You know, they should have consulted with the players. And I also want to say, like 24 hours on, having thought about this situation, I fully respect that it's those players' decision to step down and not play in this game. I fully respect that's their decision, but I do not respect that decision itself, like those players not playing in this Pride round. You know, like, I think it's wonderful that we're moving ahead. This conversation had to be had. Like, this is not the way we want to start this conversation. I mean, Peter V'landys yesterday said that the NRL now are going to have a Pride round next year, which is great. So, you know, this definitely is a starting point for this conversation. We're going to be having this conversation for the next 12 months. Just
to pull you up there, Ian, so you mentioned that you respect the players' decision based on their religion, but you don't respect them for sitting it out. I respect it's their decision not to play if they choose not to play. I have to respect that.
Yeah. I don't respect their decision. I don't respect that decision of them not playing because it's a Pride round.
Should it have been explored? I know this point has been spoken about, but would you have been happy for them to wear a jersey that didn't have the rainbow flag on it, just to the white stripes instead, in the interest of inclusivity?
How's it being? I don't understand the question. I don't mean how is that being inclusive. I mean the whole
being
point
inclusive
of having a Pride round is of them.
Yeah.
Those 7 players.
Yeah.
Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
I think that's a very confusing. That's a very confusing question. I mean, what's the idea of having a Pride round? is to celebrate. Is to celebrate and make people feel welcome from all walks, from the whole LGBTIQA+ community. It's about welcoming and about letting those people know that they are worthy and they are welcome in the sporting fraternity. I don't really understand your question.
Well, I mean, being inclusive of everyone, and I understand your point, but I guess my question was to be inclusive of those players who are sitting out because of their beliefs. Could they have worn the jersey without the rainbow stripes is what I was getting at.
Could they have worn the jersey without the rainbow stripes? So they wouldn't be wearing that jersey, would it? I mean, I don't. I mean, in all the NRL contracts, there's an inclusion and diversity policy. I mean, this is about the culture of sport. You know, I'm now thinking about how does this affect all like sponsors that they're attached to the Manly club. Sponsors, you know, for those 7 players, for their own personal apparel sponsors, how does it affect them? And like, this is. I think what people are forgetting here is the knock-on and consequences of this action. You know, we're now talking about. You know, I'm going to say we're now talking about young kids who might be dealing with their own sexuality and sexual identity issues privately. You know, a lot of those kids have been feeling a little bit less today because of this, because of all this hoo-ha about a pride sport. Let's understand what a pride round is all about. It's about welcoming people. It's just basically all it is. It's about saying you are worthy to be a part of this community. I mean, I'm a director now of a company called Qtopia Sydney. We're trying to create a Pride museum here in Sydney. I mean, I'm part of a program that we run out of the NRL called Think About It, and that's about inclusion and diversity. You know, it's a theatre sports program, and we go out to all the clubs and we touch on subjects like what bullying, about what's a safe space, about the effects of homophobia. This is all about education, education, education. I mean, it'd be wonderful to be able to sit down with those 7 players and have a conversation about this. I mean,
okay, well, on that...
This is not the best way to...
Sure. On that point, I wanted to ask you, I mean, you're a club legend at Manly. Have you been able to talk to those players?
No. I mean, it's only been 24 hours. I mean, I'd fully be open to doing anything like that. I really think this is a conversation starter. I keep saying it's a conversation starter. This is not the way we wanted to start this conversation, but this is where we are.
Yeah.
This conversation now is moving forward. This is a positive thing. This has got people, talking. Since the marriage equality vote, people think that whole thing's moved on, and we've moved on from that now, and that's been dealt with. It still hasn't. Obviously, this conversation needs to be had.
Yeah.
So I'm seeing it as kind of a positive thing.
You mentioned yesterday too that you had been lobbying for a Pride round. Are you meeting any resistance on that front?
Well, Peter V'landys announced yesterday they're having a Pride round next year. Yes, I've been lobbying the NRL for 3 or 4 years now about a Pride round. So this is wonderful news, and this has all come about,
because of this,
in the last 24
because
hours.
other codes have had one too.
So, the NRL, I'm now talking, when I came out, this is 26, 27 years ago, which is the ARL back then, they had an opportunity to be world leaders in this space, and it was lacking. They could have done better. But we are where we are. We're having this conversation. The AFL have a Pride round. I went to the Swans Pride match about 3 or 4 weeks ago. It was wonderful.
Yeah.
The celebration was wonderful, and it's all about being inclusive and letting people know you are welcome here. You are welcome. We are all part of the same community.
So just to, I'm almost out of time, sorry, Ian. So I just want to jump in there and get your point. You mentioned there that Peter V'landys has announced the Pride round. Had you met resistance up until that point?
I've had this conversation for 3 or 4 years now with the NRL. I'm not going to talk badly about that, but we are in a good place now because we are moving forward, and it looks like there will be a Pride round next year, which is a great thing. It's a start.
Okay.
This needed to. If this needed to happen, the whole thing, the whole debacle. I mean, this doesn't end Thursday night.
Yeah.
I mean, this doesn't end Thursday night after the game. This is now an ongoing thing. This is a positive thing.
Yeah. Okay. So I mean, Peter V'landys has said yes now, so he's obviously been receptive to it, but there has been some work to get there.
Yeah, there's been a lot. There's been a lot of work put in. Yes, trust me. Yes.
I think I'm pinching someone else's time now with you, Ian. So appreciate your time. Thanks for joining us this morning, and well done to you.